earlier today I made a video about a fire pot I picked up from Walmart. We unboxed it, put it together, and just took a quick look at it. So I figured, well, we'll build a fire in it tonight. So I walked out behind the house about no more than 35-40 yards in the woods and stopped and looked around, and I found everything we need to make a fire or start a fire if you only had a knife and a flint. These are some of the things I like to do, the way it's always worked for me. There's tons of different ways to do it, guys, so you don't have to get hung up on the exact same, doing it the same way I say to do it. You figure out what works for you, experiment. If you have better ideas, things to use, I'd love to hear them in the comments down below. So let's take a look around. If you're out in the woods and you need to start a quick fire, say it's been raining or something like that, you need something to start your fire on. So I found this tree, it's broken. So a nice piece of bark like this, then we can get a bigger chunk off. Yeah, that'll work. We'll bring it over here. There's my dog Rusty. He's going to help us today. So we're going to set it down on the ground here, and we'll have a nice base to build our fire in. Put our tinder, our kindling, all that inside of it once we get it going there, so we don't have to worry about getting everything wet. And I found this interesting piece of wood here. It's always been good to me for helping start fires. I took a little notch out of it. From first impression here, it looks it's like an old rotten piece of wood. For the most part, it is kind of that way, but it's very, very dense. A lot of the sap of all of it in a tree has, I guess, pooled in the heart of it. You can see how everything radiates out from the center. So that's the heart of the tree here. Got all these branches. So I took a notch out of it, and it's very dense and moist in there. That's sap, and that's going to help it be flammable. And we're going to take our knife and we're going to scrape pieces of little like sawdust, and we're going to get a big pile of it down in here, and we're going to take our flint and ignite that, and we're going to add to it. So behind us, I found some nice pieces of dried sticks. And what we're going to do is we're going to break them up into smaller pieces. I'd say this one is the size of pencil lead here, and we'll know it's the right if it's dry or not when you break it, and it makes a nice crisp pop sound. So we're going to separate into 3 or 4 piles incrementally of this size here. The smaller will be in the smallest pile. We'll move up a little bit to that, and then this size here, half of a pencil, and then I'd say this one here will be pencil sized, and we'll work our way up. So we want to have a fair amount of that on hand for when it starts the process. And then to help figure out how much you would want of this for each pile, it depends on the size of the fire you want to build and the platform you're building it on, what your base is going to be, how big it is. So if looking at this area here, I'd say a softball size, I would want say 3 or 4 softball size piles of each size, 3 to 4 different sizes. Depends on how many groups you can find, what's available. You're going to want to use this hardened and dried wood. If you're trying to say not be detected, somebody's after you, do that. It's less likely to produce a lot of smoke as compared to the nice dried leaves in the area or pine straw. So keep that in mind when you're selecting the type of wood for kindling you want to use. If you're just out in the middle of nowhere and you're freezing cold and you want to make a fire, you use what's available to you right there. If you've got a lighter, use a lighter. I'm just showing you what, if you're down in the bare minimum, I'm not the type of guy to rub sticks together and try and build a fire. If I was out in the woods and I just had to do it, that's what you're left with, that's what you're going to do. But I always keep a lighter with me when I travel in my pocket, in my truck. So lighter works best, but if you only have a knife and a flint or some rocks to create spark, this will get you started. So I'm going to collect all these different types of material and sizes, and we'll take them up to the house and do it right after to kneel down on the ground, and we'll start a fire here shortly. Alright, we got all our piles separated out. It goes incrementally from the smallest all the way on to the largest, and we'll use these bigger ones to sustain the fire once we get it going. Here's that pine wood I found. I was showing you guys. It's super sappy, and what I did was I took my knife and just scraped it with the serrated part of the edges right there, and got this kind of a fine sawdust, and I scraped off some chips there, put on top. The wind's blowing, hopefully won't lose it in the process before I take it and put it in the fire pot for you. One thing I wanted to show you guys. I'm gonna set the camera down. Was how well it scrapes off. That's how I did it, real quickly. Took the chunks off of it like that. All right, we've got our tinder and our piece of bark we're using our base. Take our flint and our knife. Trying to fight the wind here. And give it a light. And this stuff burns really well. So be ready to add more wood onto it. Got that graduated give a little blow here. And we just keep feeling it with the next size up piles. And then now we've got a good burning fire. And just continue to add to it for as large as you want. Remember I told you about burning leaves or pine straw, how it creates excess amount of smoke. If you're in a situation that doesn't matter, that's fine. That's easy stuff to pick up if it's dry to use to build your fire with. The kindling I put in there, you saw it on the base there, the bark. You really don't need but about a quarter of the amount I use. That stuff works really, really well. So if you have any, like I said, if you have any questions or comments on different ways to do this, you know, there's tons of different ways out there. Let me know. I'd like to learn something new. So drop me a note in the comments down below. Thank you for watching.